All right, this is another skiing technique. It's called initiating the turn with the tip of the inside ski. All right, and what I want to do is I want to show you a video first, give you a feel for what I'm talking about. Then I'll go through some details and then we'll watch the same video again, probably after I teach this. All right, so, okay. This is Marcel Hirscher, who for the previous 8 years was the best skier in the world, all 8 years running, winning multiple globes, including winning the overall globe 8 years in a row. All right, so let's take a look. It's all in slow motion. All right, so that's inside tip. It's going to grip first. It's going to pull in. They actually, in that case, they gripped about the same time. Let's take a look at this one. All right, do you see how that's separating there? The tip of the inside ski. See how it's blowing snow there? A little bit more than this. All right, so you got separation. You got a V going on there because this ski's pulling in a little earlier. Now, typically, you don't want to overweight the inside ski. Yeah, a lot of things, a lot of problems can happen, but this is okay because what happens is this. All right, when you there's advantages for initiating turns by pressuring the tip of the inside ski. It pulls you in quick and cleanly. All right, you get an early turn initiation, and I used to do this. I used to pop my chest towards it, and boy, it would just rip me into turns, really hard turns. Now, what's happening is this. So you're really initiating pressure on the wrong ski. You want to be on a downhill ski most of your way here, all right? But what happens is this: as you initiate pressure here, you start loading up centripetal force here, driving up this way. Now your inertia is going to be driven through your center of mass. For the upper body, the center of mass is somewhere around here. If this is driving up here, the center of mass inertia is going this way. That creates a lever arm that torques you onto that outside ski. So soon after you start loading up the inside tip, right? Weight is shifted onto this ski. So let's see what happens. All right, see that? Weight is shifted now onto this ski. Okay, see that separation going on there? He's loading up the inside ski. It's blowing a little bit more snow, it looks like. All right, now that's going to drive centripetal force this way. His upper body center mass is going to go this way, and it's going to ride him up. It's going to roll him onto that. You see that? How it rolled him onto that? And it rolled weight onto the outside ski. So, same thing here. All right. Okay, so that's initiating turns with the tip of the inside ski. An advantage of that include one, uh, you will utilize the entire surface area of both skis, right? Don't neglect the tip of that inside ski, right? You want to use the whole surface area of both skis, and by doing so, you maximize the distribution of force application, right? Whereby you avoid concentrations of pressure that can exceed shear forces, which then break ice bonds and then throw snow. And both of these bleed energy, right? And you'll be skidding your skis sideways, right? All right, so this is how you make a clean carve, right? If you don't do this, you're going to skid out the tails. All right, by initiating the turn with the foremost part of the ski, the full length of the ski edge is utilized, increasing grip on snow. So you're using the metal edge of the whole ski, not just from here back or whatever, right? Which diminishes your grip on snow. So you're utilizing the full thing, and you're fully flexing that ski. All right, so by initiating the turn with the tip, you're flexing that whole inside ski. And you're flexing both skis fully. The full length of design curvature is utilized, flexing the ski into an arc, which carves instead of skids. So, all right, see, this is an example of a ski that's flexed, right? If you initiate the tip, right, and you ski the whole ski will be flexed like this into this arc, and it's that arc that carves you through a turn instead of skidding. All right. Now, if you don't flex the tips of the skis, you will wash out the tails and skid. So if you don't use the tips, what happens is you start applying pressure here, you're just going to skid out those tails. All right. And it's going to be like a hockey, whatever, check stop. Okay. If you don't, if you don't flex the tips of the inside skis, you neglect storing energy in that ski. And that energy you can use for energy store, roll, and release. I'll try to explain that in a video if I can see Marcel Hirscher doing this. With counter rotation, the inside ski is slid forward while the outside ski is slid back, right? Draw on the skis close together, side by side. And when they're close together, the skis kind of act like a single unit with force applied equally across both skis. Now, the forwardmost part of this single unit, I put it in quotes because it's not really a single unit, but it kind of acted like one because they're so close. And the forwardmost part is the tip of the inside ski. By initiating the turn with the forwardmost part of this two ski unit, you will start to turn early. It'll pull in quickly and cleanly. So the tip of the inside ski will pull you into that turn. And like I said, I used to pop my chest towards the tip of the inside ski way back in like 2005. Right? I would just throw my chest at it, almost like I'm falling at it. And boy, when that tip would grip, it would rip you into that turn, and I would make these violent turns. All right. All right. Though the turn is initiative of pressure on the tip of the inside ski, which is typically the wrong ski, weight is quickly shifted to the outside ski because the turn will build centripetal force, all right, through that inside ski, which is counterposed by the inertia, which is, resistance to acceleration in the upper body center of mass, which then creates a lever arm that torques the body up and onto the outside ski, so long as the upper body center of mass is above the force vector, this inertial force vector. This then avoids roll down and slide out. It avoids inside ski blowout, blow off, blow up. All right, now a key caution is you must have counter rotation when hitting the inside tip pressure, or you risk inside ski blow up, causing the inside ski to be pulled around violently while the knee bashes the chin. All right. So really what's going on is this. You got to recall this, that if you don't have counter rotation and if you do have hip angulation, you're going to outrigger. All right. Now the inside ski is going to be situated pretty much right below the center of mass. So all weight is going to be loaded onto that. The outside ski is going to just be dangling out there holding no weight and only acts like a counterweight. And then what can happen is if you pressure the tip of the inside ski, that ski will blow up. It'll grip, it'll rip you around fast, and you bash your knee into your chin and then toss you in a 360. All right, so let's take a look at some Hirscher skiing. I don't know if we got to show the whole thing. I'll start here maybe. All right, coming in for a turn. Watch that ski. You see how all right. He's got some hip angulation going down there, right? And let's see if he hits his pole low. If he hits his pole low, he'll apply more pressure on that. No, he's hit it about normal. All right, but watch that separation building now, right? This is pulling in first. All right, which means more weight is initially here, but that jams centripetal force this way. That is counteracted by his inertia, which still wants to go this way. That creates a lever arm that throws him onto this ski. It also rights him. So watch him be righted up. And most weight is now loaded onto this ski. Coming around. All right, you see that the inside ski pulled first. Let's see what's going on here. All right, see that separation beginning? He's starting to turn with this ski. This is kind of washing out initially, all right? But if this grips, his inertia is going to load him onto that ski. See that? How it flipped him onto that ski, his outside ski, that's the right ski. It's much quicker though if you initiate the turn with the forwardmost part of the skis. That's the tip of the inside ski. That's going to be slid a little bit forward. All right, go ahead and use it. There's multiple advantages. You're going to maximize distribution of force along the whole ski. All right, you're going to get the full flex of this ski. It's going to help carve you through it, and you're going to store energy in this ski. Let's see if he shoots out. So he's going to come out on his tails. If you go in with the tips, you flex the tips, and as you ski through it, you come out on your tails. Pressure starts here. It gradually slides to the back, and when you come out, the tips will springboard you like a diving board. Right, going in, see how he goes in tips first, right? He gets those tips carving. This one should probably pull in a little bit. They pulled in about the same time, maybe a little bit earlier. Let's see what happens here. Okay, see that separation? It's blowing more snow, right? That's ripping him into the turn fast. See how quickly that initiates a turn? That just rips you into that turn, right? Normally that's bad. If you didn't have counter rotation, this would give you inside ski blow up. It would rip you around, bash that knee in your chin, and throw you in a 360, right? But with counter rotation, what happens is this pulls you in, this loads up centripetal force. The inertia in this center of mass up here wants to keep going this way. It's the counteracting forces inertia is not really a force, but it creates a force, and it's going to load his weight onto this outside ski, and it's going to upright him. Watch it pull him back up. See that? Whoa. So I pulled him back this way. Right? The inertia is going this way. The turn is going this way. It's throwing weight onto that outside ski. And he's jetting out of there. So the energy stored in here is going to shoot him out. Momentarily, he's slower. As you store energy in the ski, you basically compress the spring, so to speak, right? Then it snaps back and shoots you out. All right, see how that he's blowing more snow here? That tip gripped initially, it rips you into that turn fast. Remember we said inside ski blowout will really rip you around? Well, you're doing it in a controlled manner, right? And with counter rotation, it will instead of blowing up, it'll throw weight onto that outside ski. All right, see how that initially pulled in, right? But weight's going to load up here. His body mass is going to go up this way. See it? He's coming around. All right. I think that showed enough of that. All right, so here's the lever arm we're talking about, all right? Centripetal force going through the inside ski here, all right? And this is the upper body center of mass. The inertia here is it's going to create the lever arm. This acting against this will roll you onto the outside ski. It'll pull you upright. All right. So the key thing is make sure you have counter rotation. Right. If not, you're gonna outrigger here. Right. And if you don't outrigger, you're gonna get roll down and slide out. All right. So now, different ways for generating this or performing this. All right. Now, there's a difference between slalom and then GS, Super G, and downhill, right? Slalom is always a little bit different because, slalom, the gates are set so close that they come so fast and furious that you don't have time to really jack up a lot of counter rotation. Usually, the what you're limited to is locking your chest straight downhill, all right, and letting your lower body rotate around that. Okay. Now in slalom, your chest is pretty much locked facing directly downhill with only your lower body rotating for each turn. When in a turn, the legs are laid out to the side, right? And the lower body is rotated so that the ski tips are turned inward, placing the tip of the inside ski in front of your chest. All right. So, what's the best way? If this is your body here, right? Let's say you're making a left turn. Your legs are laid out here, right? And the ski's going this way, right? So the tip of the inside ski is almost right in front of your chest, right? And all you gotta do is pop your chest towards it, right? And I tell you what, when that inside tip grips, it'll rip you around that turn. It'll get you going fast. All right, it's like a controlled inside ski blow up. I showed you inside ski blow up. All right. All right. So it initiates a turn quickly, cleanly, and smartly. All right. So once that ski's in front of your chest, simply pop your chest towards it. Your chest is locked facing directly downhill. So I use this to rip my skis around in pretty violent turns. All right, I used to make these violent turns. I don't have the legs for that anymore. What am I saying here? Okay. Now, in many turns, this may be more than you need, right? Using your chest, okay? And oftentimes, the turns come too quickly for you to use much upper body, forward and back, right? So instead of doing that, what you can do is push your blocking hand a little bit lower and you'll get more tip pressure, all right? Recall that this is also used in getting hip angulation. If you push your blocking hand lower, right, it helps drive, when you push your hand across and down, it helps drive down the hip to get more hip angulation, right? So we'll talk more about this when we talk about the technique called energy store, release, and roll, which is next. You see, it's the next lesson down here. All right. Oh, by the way, I wanted to start with the benefits first. Review the benefits. All right. So we pressure the tip of the inside ski to initiate the turn. Benefits of doing this. One, you store energy in both skis for energy store, release, and roll, right? So you maintain more energy. You're not skidding, dissipating that energy. You're storing it, then releasing it. You're utilizing it, right? So it's being converted back into kinetic energy of your body, which means more speed, all right? Which means a faster run. By initiating the turn with the forwardmost part of the two ski unit, the turn will be started early, quickly, cleanly, as this will pull the skis into the turn, almost like a controlled inside ski blow up. All right, it's controlled though. All right, you will not wash out your tails and skid. All right, if you just if you neglect that tip, you're gonna wash out the tails of that ski. Utilize the full length of the ski edge to increase grip. Utilize the full length of the ski to maximize distribution of force application and thereby minimizing the breaking of bonds and throwing of snow, which dissipates energy, bleeding speed. Utilize the full design curvature of the ski to maximize use of the full ski flex to arc both skis to get a better carve, right? As well as store energy. The overall effect is quick, clean, early turn initiation, This will decrease the time required for turn completion, and early completion of a turn can have tactical advantages, right? You don't want to get behind in turns, right? Allowing more time for the setup of the next turn. All right, so how do you do this in giant slalom, Super G, and downhill? I'm going to say you don't really need to do it that much in Super G and downhill, unless you're at lower speeds when you're starting off. In GS, Super G downhill, you do not have to lock your chest facing downhill. Right? That's a key difference here, right? The turns aren't coming that hot and heavy and fast and furious. Instead, you counter-rotate your upper body to the outside. Remember, you rotate it to the 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock position. 10 o'clock for a right turn, 2 o'clock for a left turn. Then, in that position, if you're counter-rotated like that, if you bow at your waist, jackknifing your upper body, it'll lift upper body center mass, and it'll push weight towards towards the tips of the skis, increasing pressure forward to get the ski tips to initiate the turn. So it's similar to popping your chest towards the tip of the inside ski, but you're not really doing that. You're just doing a bow at the waist, getting your upper body center mass up and forward. But don't forget that in the speed events in Super G and downhill, there's a premium on maximizing the distribution of force application along the entire length of the ski. Right? Now, the reason for doing that is because you're not going to really be able to store energy in that ski. At the high speeds, when you're in a turn, your skis are chattering, bouncing around, right? They're not maintaining that full flex, so it's not maintaining stored energy, right? You're better off, maybe you want to try to initiate the turn with some forward pressure, but you're better off trying to maximize the distribution of force along the whole ski, all right? To minimize energy loss. While energy store, roll, and release is possible for GS, the speeds of Super G and downhill are too high, causing ski chatter, which prevents storing energy in the ski. They're just bouncing around. They're not maintaining that steady flex, storing energy. Therefore, the focus is on maximizing the distribution of force application for Super G and downhill. Right? In GS, however, with your outside arm pulled back low for counter rotation, the upper body mass you must ensure that you push your upper body mass forward to get pressure on the tips for energy store, roll, and release. Okay, so that's how you do that. All right, important warning. Now, important warning is, this applies for energy store, roll, and release as well, maybe more so for this, right? The concept here. If you try to get too greedy and try to store too much energy, it backfires, right? You got to have a very sensitive, refined touch, with much skiing, knowing, how tough a turn it is, how steep the terrain is, so forth, right? How much forward pressure to get. If you get too much forward pressure, you cannot store that much energy. And what happens is your ski tip is going to start acting like a plow. It's just going to push snow. It's going to break bonds. And it's going to slow you down. So don't get too greedy and attempt to store too much energy in the shovel, the front part of the ski. If you apply too much pressure in the shovel, it will act like a plow, breaking ice bonds, pushing snow, and thus bleeding energy. You therefore need to feel for and find the optimal amount of energy stored in the flex of the ski. So this really applies here. But it applies here in pressuring the tip, right? Don't apply too much pressure, otherwise it'll act like a brake and it'll slow you down. Okay, that's it for that lesson.